Common, Resurrection. Never heard it. I remember hearing Breaker 19 back in '93 and not really being a big fan of it. There were so many other albums that came out that year that were amazing. They got my attention. They got a lot of commercial attention. And also that album cover. It's not a great album cover. I probably didn't really start listening to Common until one day It All Makes Sense. And I haven't listened to anything after Universal Mind Control. Sorry. So we jump into the first track, which is the title track, Resurrection. And you can tell from the first 30 seconds that everybody involved has stepped their game up. No ID told Complex Magazine that he started out as a house DJ, and most of the samples from Can I Borrow a Dollar came from his house records. And then he met the Beatnuts, and the Beatnuts taught him how to dig for samples, and thank God for that. And Common is twice the MC that he was on Can I Borrow a Dollar. He said hearing Nas on the Stretchin' Bobbito show really made him want to step his game up. Another motivation of his was not seeing his face on the cover of Midnight Marauders. This track lets me know that he is taking this album very seriously. I assume because of the title, the song would be a little more direct. I thought it would be him talking about what happened on the old album and about him changing his direction. Other than the line about him not drinking malt liquor anymore, this song is more about him showing us his growth than him telling us about it, which is probably a better move. Next we have I Used to Love Her. I probably never heard this song until Ice Cube dissed Common in West Side Slaughterhouse, which is a track from Mac 10's debut album. I heard that they were dissing this guy named Common Sense, and I thought to myself, who is Common Sense? And in 1995, you couldn't just pick up your phone and listen to whatever song you wanted to listen to. I had to wait until I saw it on MTV like months later. And when I did, I kind of got what Ice Cube was talking about. It did feel a little condescending towards gangster rap. But in hindsight, he was definitely overreacting. I mean, he goes at Onyx and Das Effects just as hard. And I kind of get the Onyx thing because they were very aggressive and violent. Das Effects does seem like a weird thing to add to this song, but this entire album was recorded at Eric Sermon's studio in Long Island right after EPMD broke up, and Das Effects went with PMD, so maybe that had something to do with it? I don't know. There's always been a tension in hip-hop between commercial rap and underground rap and gangster rap and more positive rap. But in the mid-90s, rappers and audiences alike really started to draw lines. One line that always puzzled me in this song was where he says, "Just having fun, not worried about anyone. You could tell by how her titties hung." Is that how you can tell when women are having fun? And since this is an extended metaphor about hip-hop, what are the titties of hip-hop? Watermelon. Good song. Sounds like a freestyle. Book of Life. This is what I thought the song Resurrection would sound like. It's him talking about his life up until then. He talked about drinking too much, eating too much fast food, and just trying to survive life. Every verse ends with "Thank God I found you." Is he talking about hip-hop? Is he talking about the listener? We don't know. Next we have In My Own World, Check the Method. The intro to this song really fooled me. These are the hardest drums I had heard so far, so I was hoping I would get to hear him rap over this. But alas, it was just an interlude. The song starts out with a verse by No ID and ends with Common playing Cleanup, and both of them come off pretty well. Another Wasted Night is an answering machine message in which a guy doesn't have sex with a fat chick. On Nothing to Do, the production of this song sounds like a mixture of the horns of Pete Rock and the hard drums of Q-Tip. This song is about having nothing to do, acting a fool, and committing hate crimes. You know how it is. Teenagers. The first 7 songs on this album are known as the East Side of Stony, and this side is the West Side of Stony. And I don't know enough about Chicago to tell you what that means, but I do know that the first half of this album is a little darker, a little more serious, and the second half is a little looser and a little more fun. And speaking of fun, what's more fun than communism? Sadly, this song has nothing to do with Karl Marx and has everything to do with Common making puns about his name. This Is Me is a stream of conscious type rap with Common just talking about being himself. I talked about the second half of this album being a little looser than the first half, and Orange Pineapple Juice may be the most eccentric song on the album. Next we have Chapter 13, Rich Man vs. Poor Man. This is the first song that's not produced by No ID. It's actually produced by Why Not. And then the song Why Not rhymes from the perspective of a rich man, while Common rhymes from the perspective of a poor man. It's a pretty cool concept and it comes together really well. Next we have Maintaining. This song sounds like it's supposed to be a party jam. I'm not sure if it was, but it sounds pretty cool. Some Shit I Wrote is the second song that's not produced by No ID. It's produced by Why Not again. This song feels like he wanted to end the album the same way he started it, with bars. The album officially ends with the first edition of Pop's rap. From here on out, Common's father would end all of his albums with a little spoken word until his death in 2014. The only exception being the album Universal Mind Control. I understand why this album is a classic. With the exception of Twista, who also put out an album in 1994 called Resurrection, there weren't any other nationally recognized rappers from Chicago. This album actually put Chicago on the map as far as hip-hop. Common is often referred to as Chi-Town's Nas, a comparison that I understand because people like to compare things, but I never felt that was completely accurate. To me, Nas always made what he was talking about sound effortless. It sounded like he was just talking about what it was like growing up in Queens. Common, on the other hand, while he did make a few references to restaurants and streets in Chicago, you never really feel like you understand Chicago listening to this album. And with Common, you can also tell that he's working really hard to come up with the most syllable bending rhymes. I know that there's a point in his career where he stopped writing his rhymes down and he started rhyming off the top of his head. I'm not sure if he was doing that at this point in his career or not, but practically everything on this album sounds like a freestyle. And for me, the production really saved this album in the second half because a lot of it just feels really unfocused. But I'll definitely come back to songs like Resurrection and Book of Life. So have you heard Resurrection? Are you still bumping it to this day? I'm going to keep reviewing albums until I run out. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.